Hey, what's going on? Barnaby here, another Hello Life moment. This one dealing with blood pressure, because as goes your blood pressure, so goes your heart health in large regard. Dr. Jeffrey Chamberlain, family medicine specialist. You know, it is funny that we all have blood pressure checks, but I don't think a lot of us understand really what the heck is going on there. They put a cuff on you, they put a stethoscope right here. What are they doing there?
Okay. So when we're doing that, we put the blood pressure cuff on, and we pump up the pressure up until the point where blood doesn't flow through the blood vessel anymore. And then we slowly let the pressure out. And there's two numbers that we get. The first is called the systolic blood pressure, and that's the point where blood first can eke through the blood vessel based on the pressure. So it's kind of the maximum pressure that the blood vessel is making. And then we keep on letting the pressure go down until the bottom number, the diastolic number, and that's when there's no more turbulent flow. So basically the blood pressure cuff isn't smashing the blood vessel at all anymore. It's back to its normal shape. And so the systolic is the top number, diastolic is the bottom number.
Okay, and so what is a good average range? What's a healthy number to try to achieve?
Okay. So an ideal blood pressure is 120/70 or less. Typically we start treatment for most people if their top number, the systolic, is 140 or higher, and if the bottom number, the diastolic, is 90 or higher. That's usually at 140/90 is when we start treatment.
So what causes high blood pressure?
So there's a bunch of things that can cause it. Genetics is a biggie. The more salt in our diet, the higher it's going to push our blood pressure. The older we get, the harder our arteries get, and so that causes blood pressure to be higher also. And then the more we weigh, our blood pressure tends to go up also. So these are the major factors that are affecting our blood pressure.
So I do a little bit of plumbing as part of my home improvement, and a bigger pipe, less pressure. The smaller the pipe, more pressure. That is essentially it. You've got constriction of your blood vessels.
Yep. Yeah, when the blood vessels get constricted, it increases the amount of pressure that's needed to get the blood through, and so it causes the heart to work harder because it's trying to push really hard to get all that blood through, and then our blood pressure gets higher because of it. It puts more stress on our heart. It puts more stress on all of our arteries.
Well, you know, it's interesting when we talk about salt. A friend of mine who was grossly overweight is working it down to a reasonable level at this point, but sodium was his enemy, the doctor said. You've got to start reading every label. And he came back to me and he said he's shocked at how much sodium there is in everything. So that's probably a number we should be looking at. Yeah,
the sodium, pre-packaged foods, they tend to put a ton of sodium in it because it tastes good. And so they just load it full of sodium. So really being careful what type of prepared foods ahead of time, how much sodium's in it, whereas like whole foods or you're making something yourself, you have a lot more control over how much salt's in your food.
Alrighty. And since I have a doctor here, it's like cocktail talk. Hey doc, I got a question about my health, and that is that I did an Ironman and I was grossly underhydrated apparently at the end of it. My blood pressure was 80/40.
Okay.
And they pumped 2 bags of IV into me. My lay supposition is that I was pumping no longer just blood but sludge. Is that correct?
Yeah, no. When you're dehydrated, the blood's a lot thicker. But if you poked yourself and let yourself bleed, it wouldn't have looked like sludge. It would have looked like normal blood. All
right, so there you have it. Hydrate, eat well, exercise, and keep an eye on your numbers, because truly what happens in here with a bump, bump, bump that happens 60 times or more a minute is very much the reason that you're still walking around, correct?
Yep.
All righty, Dr. Jeffrey Chamberlain, as always, and thanks for the good free advice there on the 80/40. Now I know. All righty, it is another Hello Life moment, and you are part of the Hello Life Network if you choose to be, and that is simply by just sharing with us your experiences about things that we talk about here and how it affects your life. All right, so please start sharing, because we all benefit from your knowledge. And tell everybody about where you are right now, and that is hellolife.net.